Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a great way to support the channel is by leaving a like. It is quite simple, or by leaving a comment, or by leaving two comments, or by telling me what you think is actually happening in the cryptocurrency market today. I'm interested to see what people think, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. For those of you who are not, have not, potentially not, maybe didn't pay attention to the cryptocurrency market, over the last 10 hours or so, Bitcoin has dropped in price quite dramatically. I woke up, looked at my phone, and was shooketh. I could not understand what in the world would have caused Bitcoin to... Bitcoin was at 56,500, somewhere around there. And all of a sudden it falls down to 47,000 US dollars. Now I'm going to try and just assume, remember we were talking about other articles before and we were reading and going over them where a lot of analysts are saying that there are so many new people in the market. Whenever there's any type of movement, these people take their money out of the market because they are, for lack of a better nice term, they're not as savvy as other people who've been in the market longer, who've seen these movements up and down, who aren't really as swayed by the words or tweets of certain people in the cryptocurrency space. So here's the explicit reason as to why Bitcoin dropped nearly $10,000 over the course of an hour. Elon Musk announced, or rather this was on their Twitter page. Elon Musk said it. I'm not exactly sure where this took place. The news is, for those of you who are not looking at the screen, it says Elon Musk's Tesla suspends Bitcoin payment option. Tesla will no longer accept Bitcoin for car purchases, Chief Executive Elon Musk announced on Wednesday, citing long brewing environmental concerns. So the news is Tesla or Elon Musk, someone online associated with Tesla, announced that they will no longer be accepting Bitcoin. Now, like I said, I'm going to assume the same exact thing as the analysts and just assume that a lot of people who are in the market are so explicitly new that they have no idea what they're actually doing with their money. And that's not a joke. That's not me making fun of anyone. It's just completely honest. If you think that Elon Musk is Bitcoin, or anything that Elon Musk says in the long term is going to have an actual effect on Bitcoin, you probably should not be in the market. Once again, not even making a joke. It's the same exact thing with all these other coins that we've been seeing popping up as of late. All the other, dog this and cat that and fruit this and this that and whatever other coins are actually out there. I saw a lot of people online earlier on Twitter. They were like, "Oh, I can't wait for TMI to start ranting." I'm not going to rant. I think it's just actually really sad because I personally think, now this is just my opinion, I feel like this is setting up for some other type of scenario. Now, bear with me. We had news before that Tesla had purchased Bitcoin. Got it. And then we had news that they were going to be accepting it as a payment option on their website. Got it. Once again, Tesla being one company out of hundreds of thousands on the planet. I get why Tesla's significant, but sure. The idea of any type of environmental concern, especially as adding Bitcoin as a payment option, I feel like logically would have been addressed by the company before they actually added it as a payment option. That's why I also thought it was a little bit weird, hang in there, when he started talking about Dogecoin. I don't think that Dogecoin is going to be the next coin that he's going to add. If he does, then he is the troll of the century. Just explicitly outright. But I think that Tesla, once again, bear with me here, I think that Tesla has been setting up to launch their own coin. And the way that you do this is you adopt the number one cryptocurrency on the planet. You drop it a couple of weeks later and say, oh, it's not good for the environment. But it is good for the environment. Not only are our cars electric and therefore good for the environment, but now we have a Tesla coin that you can buy. It could be as big as Bitcoin, and therefore, you can also use it to buy our cars as well. This is what it feels like it's been leading up to. That's basically the price news for today. The entire market is down just off of this news. I really worry for the market because The only thing that really will save us, not a joke, is actual logic at this point. I understand that there could have been a 3 to 4 or 5% sell-off of price just based off of the news. Oh gosh, maybe other people will sell. But the actual rush to get out of the market just because of a perceived fear of the influence that Elon Musk has over the entirety of Bitcoin. Once again, Elon Musk being one person, but the cryptocurrency market and the Bitcoin market is worldwide, just in case you didn't actually know that. It says Bitcoin environment bombshell. No, if you have been here since around 2016, 2015, not even 2017, the discussion of the future electricity usage of Bitcoin has been quite large. I'm pretty sure you've also seen the exact same thing floating around the NFT space. I saw a couple of companies trying to launch brand new NFT platforms. They were like, we launch it on this blockchain because it takes 1/100th the electricity of the other ones. But the other companies are also claiming to do the exact same thing. I think this, honestly, if you want my honest opinion, I think this has nothing to do with the environment. I think Tesla's trying to launch their own coin. And once again, the way that you do it is you become friends with the king, you punch him in the face in front of everyone on TV, and then go, well, I can also wear the crown at the exact same time. So, yeah, Bitcoin dropped quite suddenly, very harshly. All the other coins, I think Bitcoin went down to 47,000. The last time I looked, we were at 51 or 52,000. There are a lot of fluctuations happening right now, and the other coins were down between 13 to 22% as well. So yeah, that's all the price news that's happening right now. I think this one also said it right here. It says, yeah, Elon Musk says other crypto assets under consideration after Tesla stops accepting Bitcoin for purchases. This is all coordinated. I assume that Elon Musk is smart enough, and I assume that the people behind Tesla are business savvy enough that they knew exactly what they were doing from the very beginning. But alas, it is what it is. Our market will continue with or without Tesla, whether they decide to accept it once again in the future. But yeah, just in case you were wondering, that's why the entire market crashed. Yeah, I use that word because sometimes I say fell, I say imploded, and people go, it wasn't an implosion, it was a tiny dip. So I don't know what word you want to use, but the market is down. So anyway, that's all the price news that we have, at least at the moment. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, in confusingly unsurprising news, the stock market continues to dip, as we have seen the last couple of days. There are a lot of prominent investors who are continuing to go on television right now, maybe not at this exact moment as I'm making the video, but who are coming out and saying that they are now afraid of inflation. Apparently, there's like a consumer index that's floating around, and it shows that consumer prices for the things that people have been buying or could potentially buy in stores have risen by around 4.2%, and they expect this to continue on as the rest of the year moves on, and we have speculation that there will potentially be 1 or 2 more stimulus checks and how much money they're going to be printing and how much money has to be pushed into the economy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And also, if for those of you not looking at the screen, it says, but Bitcoin is still down. This is what I don't get. Maybe I'm not meant to get it. Bitcoin does extremely well when governments in the US dollar do bad. But for some reason, there's some really weird trend that's happening right now, and I can only imagine as to exactly what it is. But yeah, inflation is up. Bitcoin, for some reason, has been stagnating the last month and a half. I'm not sure if it's just what we've actually seen before as well. Now, this is just pure speculation. We've had years ago where a number of analysts came forward and said that they were actually happy when Bitcoin stagnated a bit and or was trading between a particular range for an extended period of time, because it showed that Bitcoin was strong enough to outlast the hype, i.e. our market pumps up when there is hype. But if we can, maintain a $50,000 or whatever number is actually out there for an extended period of time, it shows that our movement upward wasn't just hype, and therefore there is actual momentum in the market. But Bitcoin still being accumulated. We know at some point it will rise in price, but this is the conundrum of the century right here. Anyway, that's the inflation news, and let's move on. Next up, in something that could have also affected the market, but I think the market's stupid enough that this definitely would have affected it at least a tiny bit. We went over this a bit yesterday, but alas, here we are again. The U.S. SEC, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission's latest statement warning investors about the risks of investing in digital assets was bad news for crypto fans. Not really, especially those anxiously awaiting approval of Bitcoin ETFs sometime in June. The U.S. SEC, the Chamber of Money or whatever in the United Kingdom, the something of Australia and the something of South Korea and also of Japan have recently come out talking about the dangers, warnings of the cryptocurrency space. The warning that we got from South Korea, for those of you who were not here or simply do not remember, was the news that on one cryptocurrency exchange, their trading volume, one crypto exchange in that country completely surpassed the volume or usage that day money-wise of their entire stock market. The US SEC now has a problem with, what was the company who recently just released like mini Bitcoin futures? So not the normal Bitcoin futures in the entire price of Bitcoin, but it's like 1/100th of a price of Bitcoin. It's meant to be an easier price point. I think the other day they had, normally when a future starts for Bitcoin, we see around like 5,000 of them traded per day. So, the interest is maybe, if you want to maximize it, 5,000 people. For the mini Bitcoin futures, it was 100,000 in one day. This shows that there's a huge amount of interest in Bitcoin in this space and trying to gain some type of an exposure to it. We also had news, I believe, a day or two ago as well, that there were a number of companies who were discussing being able to allow hedge funds to purchase shares or whatever in the actual Bitcoin futures and or mini Bitcoin futures to have some type of price exposure to Bitcoin. The SEC doesn't like it. None of them like it. They're all completely all over the place. Once again, this is about power and this is about struggle and it's always about money. The US SEC has done what they can what they can over the last couple of years to make sure that Bitcoin's price does not rise, that the US dollar's integrity remains intact, and they keep saying that it has to do with consumer protection, but that's a complete lie because we see that across the entire world, there are many other Bitcoin ETFs and cryptocurrency ETFs, and these people haven't exploded. Just explicitly out there. It says regulators will increase scrutiny of funds with exposure to Bitcoin futures markets. The SEC Division of Investment Management announced in a statement on Tuesday. The agency also referred to Bitcoin as a highly speculative asset. Wall Street and crypto gains have been looking for a way to integrate digital assets into their funds or an ETF for several years. So I'm pretty sure it was yesterday as well. The idea that when we do ever get a Bitcoin ETF, that the Bitcoin market is going to explicitly explode. The ETFs that we have right now are actually gobbling up, accumulating actual physical Bitcoin for their ETFs as the purpose of the fund, and therefore, if the US does it, basically it'll become a bit of copy and paste. You'll look at their thing that got through the SEC and say, well, we need to do exactly what they say, the exact same wording, put our name on the top, hand it to the SEC, and they can't really reject it because we're doing exactly what they're doing. And therefore, multiples of this will happen. Bitcoin continues to be gobbled up. It's something behind the scenes that we will never know about. Something is happening. This isn't a tinfoil hat thing. You have to understand. The US dollar is crumbling. It's actually falling apart. Inflation is here. We had news like this a couple of days ago. This is why the actual stock market is going down. This is why the news at the end of last year was so significant. When we were talking about all these banks came forward, it was 3 banks in particular who kept on saying, yeah, the US dollar is probably going to fall by 20% in value in 2021. Now, so it was like, why is no one else paying attention? Like that is absolutely huge when you have mega banks who are once again supposed to be the champions of the US dollar as they're based in US dollars, talking about the demise of that currency and the rise of Bitcoin. So as it stands right now, I told you before, the SEC is not. They are not. There is going to be no Bitcoin cryptocurrency ETF exchange traded fund, exchange traded product, exchange traded note in the United States anytime soon, especially not in June. That's the time frame for the next one that got pushed back a couple of weeks back to June as to when the SEC is going to give their announcement. I'm really fearful because I know that people are stupid enough. They're going to get their hopes up 3 days before. Like I said, they're going to assume that the SEC is going to be like, no, this time is different. They're going to say no, Bitcoin's price is going to fall by 5 or 6%, and people will be going, I don't understand what happened this time. Why did they let it go through? These people are obsessed with power, and they're trying to make sure that they can control the cryptocurrency market in any way that they can. They cannot control Bitcoin. They cannot control the protocol. They cannot control 7.4 billion people on the planet. So their only way to keep the lid on is by stopping the United States from having a Bitcoin ETF. On top of that, the other kind of interesting news is that we had news weeks ago at this point that Grayscale, for those of you who do not know, Grayscale offers a Bitcoin custody trust or whatever you kind of want to call it. They normally had a premium because there were so many people who were actually using their service. With the advent of so many other the Canadians, multiple, and the South Korean, I think Japanese, and maybe the Norwegian and some other country, they were launching these Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ETFs. Grayscale's premium began to kind of fall because there were now other options for people to be able to get into within the United States in some sort of way. So the idea is when the SEC says no to another Bitcoin ETF, we will probably see a rush of people move back to Grayscale because people were probably moving away from Grayscale to take out their money in anticipation of a Bitcoin ETF from another company being able to get launched. The idea being, once again, if there's no other option, we move back to Grayscale. And when Grayscale was really, hitting it every single day, they had a massive premium, and that was also part of the reason why people believed Bitcoin's price was moving up so heavily. So that's the SEC news. Nothing has changed in the last 6 years. I think it's longer than 6 years. People have been trying to launch Bitcoin ETF since the beginning of time. Anyway, that's all that news. And let's move on. Next up, also in quite popular news right now, the crypto exchange called Phemex, I assume that's how you pronounce it, P-H-E-M-E-X, is it Phemex or Phemex, has relisted XRP. Cool, wonderful, amazing, absolutely awesome. Once again, still waiting for the other big ones to do it as well. I think they're going to take a very long time, even though they are legally allowed to do it. I think this is the third cryptocurrency exchange who has relisted XRP. One can only assume that these other 3 cryptocurrency exchanges over the course of the last 2 months have gone to the SEC and say, hey, is it good? And the SEC was like, because, it's a whole bunch of old people. And then they relisted XRP. So we're still waiting for Kraken, I believe. We're still waiting for Coinbase. And Gemini is never going to add XRP because Gemini has way too much Bitcoin and they don't want anything else winning because it's always about money. Anyway, cool. XRP is back in another exchange. Maybe we'll hear one of the big names relist it. I think that'll really cause a huge push up in price. But alas, Phemex has relisted it. And let's move on. Next up, in gigantimous news, this was quite popular, and a lot of people don't really understand, I think, what's actually happening. On the 12th of May, the DM Association, formerly known as Libra, which is owned by Facebook, announced that it was abandoning its plans to register with Swiss financial watchdog FINMA and will be returning to the United States. For those of you who were not here from 2018 until now, Facebook announced in late 2018, early 2018, doesn't really matter, that they were going to be launching their own cryptocurrency called Libra. The very next day, the United States Senate, the United States Congress, they looked like they had lost their ever-loving minds. Why, you might ask? Facebook is still the largest social media platform on the planet. And basically what would happen is if Libra had launched, Facebook would have become overnight the largest bank on the planet. That is a no-no. You can't have that, especially not with the US dollar struggling and trying to continue to hold on to the dental floss that is keeping it afloat. So what happened is the very next day, the people from Facebook had announced that not only were they not going to be working with US regulators, but that they had moved to Switzerland and they were going to be working with Swiss regulators. We had about a good 15 days in a row. This is not a joke. You can definitely find it. Type in Facebook Libra 2018, 2019. You'll find tons of articles. They had Facebook sitting in front of them in Congress and the Senate, basically asking, why are you doing this? You can't do this. Everyone was asking for a moratorium. Shut it down. It can't go through, yada, yada, yada. So basically, about 6-7 months later, the people from Facebook receiving so much political pressure because, think about it. I think Facebook has 3 million I think users, and I think 1.7 million like active daily users all the time. If they had opened this up and had, because even more so, when they announced this coin, there were 30 mega partners who were with them. It was Visa, it was MasterCard, it was Lyft, it was Uber, it was all these big names. And I began speculating that one of the easiest ways to get adoption for this coin is simply to say, well, if you want an Uber and you use Libra, you get 15% off of your actual usage. How many people, everyone would flock to it immediately. Everybody wants to pay less or have something for free, whatever the case might be. So what happened is that by the end of 2019, I think that's the time frame, I'm not really sure anymore, US regulators were furious with what Facebook was trying to do. And Facebook basically said, fine. We got it. You don't like it. So instead of launching Libra from the get-go, we are going to launch a bunch of stablecoins. We're going to launch a US dollar stablecoin, a pound stablecoin, a euro stablecoin, a yen stablecoin, and I think there was a fifth one, not really sure, as a ways to appease regulators, i.e. basically saying, if we are going to have this project going forward in your country, we will make sure that it is denominated in your local currency, and therefore everything should be kind of cool. A lot of people were not really excited still with the fact that Facebook was not within the borders of the United States and they were working with Switzerland. Basically, I mean, there were a couple of regulators basically saying that they're trying to make Swiss bank accounts. I mean, it was just absolutely illogical. And this was around the same exact time where any other coin, Telegram, Kik, anything else that resembled Facebook coin was shot down to the ground. And I mean like with like 15 rockets at the exact same time. The SEC had launched about, I think, 30 different lawsuits over the span of a couple of weeks, basically targeting anything that looked similar to Diem, i.e. anything that would take away power or usage of the US dollar. So the news now is that now understand, you have to always have this in the back of your mind. It is always about money. Something has happened that has caused Facebook to leave Switzerland to move back to the United States, and they're creating a new dollar-backed stablecoin. They're working with someone called Silvergate. So I assume behind the scenes, and also side note as well, their new where is it? Their new office is going to be in Washington D.C. So I assume behind the scenes something really crazy has taken place, and they were basically either told or did it on their own free will, but this is still going to happen. A lot of people over the last 2 years have been kind of laughing at Facebook and saying, well, Diem's not going to launch and so. Like, I don't think you understand exactly how much money is flowing behind this. When they do launch this is going to be a very big tidal wave day for the entire cryptocurrency space, and Facebook is going to receive a lot of financial power. You may have forgotten, you may not have been here. In 2018 and 2019, we had a word that twice Facebook was actually in talk, or Libra at that point, whatever the name was in talks with around 2 different countries to get them to adopt their stable coin. And part of the problem is that the news was that we had allegedly is that they were targeting countries who were not so economically sound, basically saying, hey, we are Facebook, you need money, we can give you money. What happens when you lend somebody $20 billion? What do they become? I can't say the word on here, but they owe you for life. And the idea was that if Facebook is doing that with the countries that we knew about with that news that leaked allegedly, they would start doing it all over the place, and therefore they would really become the largest bank on the planet. So the news is that this is still going to launch. I wish people not took these things more seriously, but there's kind of this well, that's not going to work kind of thing in the cryptocurrency space, or ours is better than yours and therefore we will always be better than you kind of thing. It's kind of like with the entire Shiba Inu coin thing. Everyone's like, well, I'm a Shiba Inuer and I'm not a Dogecoiner. Like, no, they're both garbage. Like, it's just that you think that yours is better than the other ones, and therefore, like, it's this really weird loop. Echo chamber feedback loop is what you would call it in the cryptocurrency space. The point is, Facebook is still incredibly powerful. They're launching their own cryptocurrency, and we'll see exactly what comes of it, because I assume this is going to be happening relatively soon. I think this is also Facebook coin news. Yeah, this is from Reuters. Yeah. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, also in very popular news, is that cabbage? What is that? What's purple that looks like that? I'm going to say it's shredded cabbage. Vitalik Buterin might have single-handedly put a halt to the meme coin mania, at least in the short term. Buterin was the recipient of 50% of the entire supply of Shiba Inu. We went over that yesterday for those of you who were not here. There are 1 quadrillion, not 21 million, not 100 million, not 10 billion, not 100 billion, not a trillion, not 100 trillion. There are 1 quadrillion Shiba Inu coins. That coin is never going to $1 in case you did not understand math and how the world's money supply works. 50% of that was given to Vitalik Buterin. We know what this man's cryptocurrency address is. It happened to come out at some other point, yada, yada. And all these different projects started sending Vitalik Buterin their crappy coins in an effort to say, hey, you see that person over there of the number 2 coin? He is also holding our coin. I think they gave him $8 billion worth of Shiba Inu coin, which was absolutely insane. Shiba Inu is a token that saw the surge in interest after major exchange platforms added it to their products for the spot and derivatives market. In a donation spree, Vitalik Buterin sent his SHIB tokens along with his coins Elon, Miri, and Akita to several charity donations. Ethereum core developer Hudson Jameson made a list of the charity projects and the amounts they received, and all the numbers are right there. So the news is that Vitalik Buterin has given away all of his coins that he received from these projects. Once again, please pay attention and try to take care of your money. We are going to continue to have a large number of cryptocurrency projects that are going to spring out from nowhere, that are going to try to get you to put your money into them. And part of the problem is 30% of you are going to put your money into them. I see a lot of you commenting in the comment section or on Twitter, discussing the names of other cryptocurrency channels that you listen to and or watch. And I look at some of those channels and these people are trying to get you to pump their coins. I just saw one recently. It was some person. Their title was like, I just bought $10,000 worth of Shiba tokens and you should too. Terrible. So the point is, these coins are now dumping as well they should. They have no right to be even in the top 1,000 coins, as I believe we have over 10,000 cryptocurrencies right now. Please pay attention to where you're putting your money. Try to do some due diligence. Stop following the hype. Make sure it's nonsense. You are all going to be so angry with yourselves in the future when you realize that you put your money into all this garbage. It is just absolutely insane. There's something, you know what you should watch? There's a new thing on Netflix. It's called Money Explained. Please watch it for the love of ever-loving heaven. Where they have one episode, it's called Scams or something like that, where they go over them and they try to explain to people or rather try to figure out the reason why people continue falling into these patterns. Have you ever heard the phrase, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then gosh darn it, it's a duck? Anyway, so the news is, yeah, all these coins were, billions of dollars dumped by, this company received, hold on, 100,000 million billion 50 trillion Shiba Inu tokens were given to this association. So, oh boy. You can't really help everyone. I remember hearing these things when I was a kid and I was like, that's the dumbest sounding thing in the world. But you can lead a horse to water, but gosh darn it, if you cannot make him drink, just understand. Drink a cup of logic and just please understand what's happening. These things are made for you to get rid of your money. On top of that, it says the Ethereum address is holding at least 1 Ether has hit a new high. There are now 1.2 million addresses holding at least 1 Ether. This is great. Spread the love. I want everyone to actually have parts in these protocols, not to simply all the money that people have wasted and put into these other terrible projects. The things you could have put your money actually into. We're not going to get into the exact amount of coins that you should be having for other projects, but diversify in a good way. If you plan on investing in terrible, crappy hype coins, at least try to make sure and evaluate if your portfolio should potentially have at least some of the top 10 coins so that you have a buffer in some sort of way. This is great. I hope this continues. I hope more people can continue to accumulate some of the larger coins so that you at least have fractions of them. The craziest price predictions that we've heard for Ethereum is that in 5 to 10 years, we could see $100,000 Ether. Wonderful. I want everybody to be a part of that. I want everybody to be able to have Ether, to be able to stake it themselves, to make tons of passive income, which I think is something that that's another episode. Oh my gosh, watch Money Explained. I believe it's season 2. They also go over why people don't think further than they currently are thinking in this very moment. It has a lot to do with the idea of getting older, which people don't ever think about. It's kind of this you invest all your money in these other coins because you think right now I could get super rich, but there's no indication in your mind that should be there that says, if I invest in a big coin that is going to pay out dividends or does have staking, in the future, when the value of this coin rises, I will have passive income and therefore I will be able to retire early. It just doesn't. People fall for the hype. Anyway, so the point is Ethereum addresses continue to rise. We had news like this before of addresses holding an entire Bitcoin and also holding a 1/10 and 1/100th of a Bitcoin as well. So yeah, great news. Let's move on. And to finish things off, Nebraska lawmakers are moving forward with an initiative that would allow state banks to offer cryptocurrency services. State senators favored the measure through the first of 3 required votes in the legislature, with 39 lawmakers voting to advance the bill for enrollment and initial review on Sunday. Introduced by Republican Mike Flood in January, Legislator Bill 649 aims to adopt the Nebraska Financial Innovation Act and create digital asset depository institutions, as well as provide for charter, operation, supervision, and regulation of such institutions. It's very often that you see any politician who kind of gets it, and I mean extremely rare. What was the other state that we just heard from before? Nebraska, Wyoming. There we go. Wyoming. Golf clap. Absolutely. To be able to see the future and understand where the entirety of this space is going, I think is great. I think even moves like this allow other people in these states, in these countries, provinces, to be able to say, hey, it's not as bad as we thought it was, like everyday normal people. And they go, well, I'm also interested in this space now as well, which allows them to get into the market, accumulate really good coins, and then, also become economically prosperous over the coming years. So I thought this was great news. Not really much to really go on. We'll see if this entire thing actually gets pushed through. I hope that it does. I want everyone to be in the cryptocurrency market. Rather, I want people who are not rich to really understand that crypto could be something great for them so that they can get into the market. So the quicker this goes through and the quicker banks and institutions are able to offer these services to other people who would not normally be in the cryptocurrency space so that they can have some type of exposure to it, especially on their retirement and pension funds, the absolute better. So very good. Hope that continues. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Red Plump Tomato. I don't know why I like that one so much. Umnu, Wish Nikki, the letter M, Stefan Dirks, Not Brain, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lake Crypto, Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy 655, and Carlos was like, Mobarazi, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grollet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Barebones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Pat Turn Noster, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick. Ooh, third breath. Moher Maroni, Master Vengeance in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Man, Gialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Where am I? Oh, here we go. Wow. Yes, to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Runner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, All Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. I'll tell you something. First of all, thank you very much to all my Patreon supporters. Secondly, I almost read out something that I had to stop myself. after the last name on that list, I actually have I'll tell you. Once a week I go to this sushi place just to treat myself, but I have like the numbers of the things that I order, so when I walk into the store I can just kind of give them the numbers when I get it for takeaway. But I almost read out the numbers of the of the sushi thing that I get, and I was like, no, they won't even know what that is. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. Thank you to everyone who left a like, who left a comment, and thank you all just in general for being here. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $49,901. It is down by 11.45%. Ethereum is at 3,800, is down by 11%. I don't have to tell you exactly how much everything is down by, but the entire market is down. We have Mr. Musk to thank for that, because I'm telling you, I believe this was coordinated. There's no way. There's no way that they accepted Bitcoin without knowing, because the entire environmental discussion has been going on for a number of years. Like, this isn't news that just popped up. We've all known this. We all know that Bitcoin uses an enormous amount of electricity. So I have a very strange feeling that, day to day, there wasn't a big like, oh no, we got to save the planet kind of thing that was going through their heads. I think they're trying to make their own coin, but I give it 2 weeks and then we'll definitely see if that's going to be a thing. Anyway. Yeah, I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are try to have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, supporting, and yeah, I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.